Thank you, Liam. I am very
Pleasure.
excited for us to have our chat. But before we get started,
Yep.
how about you introduce yourself and a little bit about Bluestone Lane for those of us that, like me, I'm in the Midwest and I don't have the pleasure of walking into Bluestone Lane every day.
Sure. Bluestone Lane is a cafe and coffee shop concept. Started in the Northeast in New York by a founder who was also an Australian. You may notice I have a strange accent for everyone else. Nick started the business around, it's not just coffee, it's connection. So the business is experience led, and we have two concepts. We have cafes and we have coffee shops. Cafes are more like your brunch style dining rooms, and then the coffee shops are more like your QSR Starbucks model. So we operate 55 locations across the country in 6 regions.
Awesome. And what about you, Liam? How long have you been with Bluestone Lane?
I've been with Bluestone for almost 6 years now. So I joined in 2018, and I had a background in e-commerce and also in kind of setting up direct-to-consumer platforms. A little bit of hospitality. I worked for a brewer in the past before that as well. So I joined Bluestone in 2018.
Great. Awesome. So we will jump into it. That actually is a nice dovetail into our first question we have prepared today, which is all about, I would say, perfect timing for Bluestone Lane. You got set up with Olo and you were digital. I believe it was December of 2019. You were live, which perfect timing. You were at Bluestone Lane. How about you tell us about that and about that time? And then what did you do to get your locals back into your stores?
Yeah. We consider everyone at Bluestone Lane a local, not a customer. So it's something that is an Australian way of building community. We like to think that everyone is a local to our store. In 2019, we kind of knew that we'd have to embark on some form of digital. So we were operating in a very, classic QSR model of taking orders at a register. And we knew that at some point, as we grew, we needed to scale more, that we're going to have some form of digital component. And then with Olo, we started to embark on that journey in late 2019 and started with an order ahead program. It was very simple. It was web-based. It wasn't like anything too fancy, but by obviously March 2020, that was a pretty transformational time where we could, all of our stores were pretty much shut down. So in 2 days, we basically pivoted to operating 12 stores with 100% digital ordering. So it kind of completely changed the way that we were operating. From there, it was a matter of how do we use this tool to reimagine the business as well. So we always want to be experience led, and that comes from not just the store, the design, the sound, the uniforms, the food, the coffee, and obviously the experience you have with the connection you have with our baristas. So that was always at the forefront of what we wanted to do, and how we can connect a digital experience to a human experience. And that was probably the catalyst for a lot of things that we eventually did in following that.
And how did digital help you with the human experience? How did you evolve?
Yeah, like we said, we started out initially just with an order ahead program that expanded to digital delivery, and then ultimately we had to think about how we could operate dining rooms as well. So we moved into what is now fairly arbitrary. We've all got like QR codes with mobile dining, what we call mobile dining, as an option. But we had to do that 100% for approximately 2 years. And that just kind of changed the way that we actually, like, our steps of service completely changed. The interactions that all of our staff had were not so much transactional based about taking orders. They were more about, okay, how do we get them to focus on the people in front of them? And it was really good hearing Will this morning talk about this in the keynote, because it's like technology should be able to actually free people up to do things and connect more with other humans. And that's what hospitality is. And that's what Bluestone Lane was started on. So even though we were leaning more into like a digital experience, which could ultimately be seen as less human, we wanted to focus on how do we enable this to be a human experience. So.
Great. And kind of diving into the brand a little bit, You want to be seen, Bluestone Lane wants to be seen as a lifestyle brand for your locals. And if you guys didn't catch that, that is what Bluestone Lane calls their customers. So tell us about how you captivate your locals.
Yeah. During this period of probably 2 or 3 years of, I guess, significant digital transformation. So we've now settled at around 50% of the business is still digital ordering, and that's through the three main channels of pickup, delivery, and dine in, or mobile dining as we call it. And that's obviously given us a lot of first party data now. So we have a huge database. We've grown that to well over 1 million people, and that's also then led into other business units that we have. So we have a really strong brand partnerships business, and being in the Northeast California and kind of major cities, we have a good footprint that we now use for doing brand partnerships with, we've recently done one with New York Fashion Week with a coffee provider for New York Fashion Week. So from there, we've now started to think about, well, if these are all the things that we as a brand stand for and what we align to, how can we bring that into our loyalty program? Or how can we bring that into other parts of the business and enhance all the experiences that we're getting? So traditionally, our loyalty program, prior to just recently, pretty much about 3 weeks ago, was very much a transactional, monetary driven program and about convenience, which is I guess most programs are run that way. That's very much spend this, get this. If you spend this and stay with us, you're going to get this. But that for us is like trying to be a premium brand where we have premium coffee, premium experiences. It's almost at odds with what we are. So we're saying like, hey, we're amazing. Look at this. This is beautiful. But if you come a lot, we'll give you a discount. So it's kind of like not I guess the same as what the value proposition is. So now we've looked at how do we enhance our loyalty program, the give back of what we do, to be more about experience-led, exclusivity. So not exclusivity, but enabling like our locals who come to us all the time to know that they are special. And if they're coming back, they're getting more special things that they can't get elsewhere. I was talking to Brooke yesterday. There's a really interesting article in Vogue Business just last week about Zennials and Millennials. And it's explaining like that particularly Zennials, the new group, are so obsessed with not just loyalty. They're obsessed with getting more than what everyone else has, but like and driving kind of exclusive and things that they can't get anywhere else. And that will actually drive more loyalty. But funnily enough, that doesn't actually cost us anything. So in a way, we've actually traded off from giving just, here's $5, here's a free coffee, here's $5, to now being like, would you like to come to New York Fashion Week? Yes. Okay. That doesn't cost us anything because we've done the partnership with them. Or do you want to form a Pilates membership with a coupon? Like, is that something that aligns to you as one of our locals? So that's kind of opened up a whole new breadth of what the future looks like for us, I guess how we've transformed just simple, like making the business more simple through digital ordering, but now how can we enhance the experience for the long term and drive loyalty?
I love that. And launching an app, a new loyalty app, is no easy feat, as I'm sure you could sit and talk about for a while. What decision-making process, like what was that like when you decided you needed to, update your loyalty program?
Yeah, we had been with, and as many here probably had worked with Level Up and Grubhub for a while. That obviously we'd been looking at an alternatives for that for quite a while. Like we'd actually been kind of considering how we do this, but there's also as a business that has been growing a lot. So we went from 50 locations pre-pandemic down to 12, and then have built back up to 55 in 2 or 3 years. So it's like been this aggressive up and down. So we didn't want to like bite off too many, I guess, things that we couldn't chew. So at the same time, we always knew that we were being held back in like what we could do for the brand and what we could do for loyalty. So we assessed all of the brands. One of the biggest hurdles that we had in store was in our cafes. Was we started to see that the acquisition we're getting in store as more and more people came back to wanting to be served by with taking a more of a traditional route of like just ordering with a server and getting a check. How do we join those experiences together and we ended up landing with Thanks, and there was a lot of good products on the market that were kind of offered this, but linking loyalty to like someone's spend behavior, so through a card, and having them just register a card, and then no matter how they pay, they will earn with us, and then that kind of opens up like a new way for us to, I guess, bring in more people and make them feel like they are getting more as well. So that's and with that also we had to assess things like payment options. So that was we eventually landed on partnering with OloPay, which also enabled a lot of different features and functions that sound very like simple. Like I'm sure everyone here would be like, why don't you accept Apple Pay? And you're like, it's actually really complicated. it's not as simple as just like
Amen.
as just doing that, particularly when you have a custom built infrastructure. You don't want to like pull everything out and then put it back in without like really rigorously testing it. So knowing that we had a partner that was willing to kind of work with us and had worked with us in the past kind of made it a little bit easier.
Yeah, knowing that, it really is about your locals, their experience. And I feel like all of us like to use our digital wallets. At least I know I do. So that's great. I know it's early. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you probably don't have any juicy feedback for us yet on your app
on
launch.
OloPay. The probably the best benefit is because we'd built all of these things quite quickly through a period of like high growth, high challenges of just operating challenges. We obviously made some decisions to make things work, but making things work isn't always the best for the long term. Yeah. So it's actually really made life a lot easier. Like we were accepting our payment provider over here, we're accepting Stripe for this channel, and then we're accepting something else over here. So now we've kind of moved all that into one. And from a customer service perspective, that just makes like, if you have a complaint, like there's a payment tied to the order. Right. So it's like, now it's like a very simple process. It's not, okay, we need to figure out how we're going to settle this for the customer.
Great. Sounds like lots of streamlining and efficiencies. That's awesome. I think we are at time for today. I appreciate your time, Liam, and everyone's time that came to come hear from us.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.